Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jacob with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. And today we have an unbelievable roundtable. We're going to talk secret space program. We're going to get some really good questions that everybody is really wanting to know. We have some really interesting guests today. I have James Rink. He is a super soldier, meditation practitioner, researcher, author, and video producer. Jenny Lee is an international remote viewer, medium, seer, teacher, and healer. And Kimberly is a MyLab experiencer and super soldier who was abducted by the CIA at age 5. So, of course, I have my secret space program background and SEAL Team 6 and all the CIA stuff for 35 years. So all of us have really good, interesting backgrounds. And I'm going to we'll start with Jenny Lee and just kind of work around. Jenny Lee, you want to talk a little bit more about yourself?
Yeah, I've kind of been this way before I was even here. So I had memories before I was even born. So with that interpretation, they presented to me, this is spirit, that you need to follow us on this side. And my life has been that way from day one. So it hasn't changed. Even though that humans, parents, all of teachers, everything that you come across to you, they challenge you. And so I stay to that fact and the information, and it has got me to the place I am today. You know, I followed what I was supposed to do to the T and didn't doubt it. So I kept going on my journey. And so I work with missing persons. I do a lot of artifacts for properties they can't find. I do that. I did that up for remote viewing. I also do a lot of cases for fraud. So the company has the issue with somebody in the corporation, and I go in and describe, and so I tell them the details that they need to know. And I also am able to draw the actual person, what they look like from the view that I get. Wow. So all about the truth and bringing that to the light.
That's fantastic. So as a fellow remote viewer, it's fun to get other remote viewers on. We can talk about experiences. James, let's give us a little bit of your background, a little bit deeper.
Yeah, hi there. So I'm James Rink, and I'm the main guy behind the Super Soldier Talk channel on YouTube, as well as supersoldiertalk.com. And I've been doing videos on YouTube since I would say the channel kind of really kicked into high gear around 2010. I've done at least 280 videos, interviews over the years. I am a super soldier. I've been involved in the secret space program for my records show 330 years. I'm still trying to pinpoint all the information because there's multiple timelines, which could possibly extend it a lot further, because they run us through avatar bodies. But this conversation might be beyond the scope of this right now. But yeah. So also I have a documentary I did about Nasara called Changes on the Horizon. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of curious that the transcripts for that documentary are posted on Telegram all over the place. And when it comes up about Nasara, and I say, oh, I remember writing that years ago. So so go check Changes on the Horizon out, because I recently had to take down 2 years of content off my YouTube channel because they were censoring me. I don't even know I'm probably not even allowed to tell you what I was censored about, because then this video might get censored too. So, but you I'm sure you can kind of guess. But so that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Fantastic. And Kimberly, tell us a little bit about yourself too.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Lusana. I am a MyLab experiencer and super soldier. I was abducted at the age of 5 into the secret space program. I was trained as a remote viewer, as a soldier, as a lot of different things. I participated in Dark Fleet, some of the off-world programs, military corporations, Kruger, Umbrella, Shoreline, Monarch. I've experienced Project Looking Glass, Project Seagate, Project Witchblade, and I'm the founder of supersoldiercoalition.org.
Fabulous. So quite a group here. My background, like I was talking about, former SEAL and CIA. And I awakened to my secret space program information about 5 years ago now, and have gone deeper and deeper into that. And I have a special coming up on Gaia starting August 3rd. So let's jump in. James Brink has shared some very fascinating questions. We're each going to talk about them. We'll just kind of go around the circle again, just like we just did. So the first question, and these are going to be very intriguing for everybody, and answer a lot of questions I think that everybody's been having about what's going on in the world right now. So each one of us is going to talk about, what do you foresee happening over the next 6 months?
Am I supposed to chime in first?
No, we'll get Ginny Lee. We'll start her. She'll be our first, and your second, and then Kimberly, and then I'll bring up the end of it.
I think this is kind of what I want to go into, because I'm looking at the end result of the situation, and I'm more concerned with the mindset of society after this, because you have pharmaceutical, you have hospitals, medical facilities, you have the banking system, you have land, you have the government, you have air that's been poisoned, food, all of this. This is all going to be revealed of how much that is in front of us. And do we, look at the evidence, or do we ignore it? The thing is, society is not going to take that well, because they, on this process, it's hard to take all that information. And so I think the main thing that I'm worried about is actually the mental process for a lot of these people. They're so used to being dependent on those systems and how it works. We are turning this world inside out and putting the truth in the light. And that is, I think, one of our biggest processes, when these people cannot handle it. They're going to completely withdraw from society and hide for a while. And then we're going to have an epidemic of, they can't handle this. So to me, that's a big concern, because it's lie after lie after lie. And it, for those evidence that you're going to look at, are they going to trust it? Maybe, but they have to come to a conscience level and see it for what it really is. And that's going to be hard, especially with the children. That evidence is a big situation. So I would tell you the process that I think, the format of China going down and their resources falling, then, we're dealing with things can't be done just like by dates. They have to be done by things that are checked off the list. Okay, that's done. This is done. So I just don't think that you're going to get this big date that people are going to tell you what's going to happen. It's going to happen overnight. So I think, and Spirit has told me, this will go over quick, like a thief in the night. So I'm definitely thinking more October, it's going to be done, and it's going to be like that. As soon as that media cord is pulled, that brainwashed society is not going to be there to use and utilize. So I don't think that it's a big deal to me, because it's the way you're seeing things from inside out. If you live in fear, you live in 3D, you're going to take it in a fear-based situation.
Fantastic. Wow. Yeah, I feel very similar situation as well. James, what do you see for the next 6 months?
So I'm gonna have to use a lot of code words here. But there's multiple timelines. Ultimately, just even talking about the future can change it. So some of this information I'm going to share is from what I believe to be more of a negative timeline, and some people are on it, meaning that if you are aligned to a certain AI aligned agenda, meaning you did something to put something in your body, then you would resonate more with that. Whereas if you didn't do that, you resonate with more of a positive side. So, before you try to wrap your mind all around that, let me just go ahead and go into what some of the negative stuff. And we are probably looking at the summer of 2021 is like the summer of 1939. And by September, a lot of people are going to be kicking the can. And then at least what's been relayed to me, whether or not, I can't confirm all this, because ultimately we could change it by, like I said, but there may be another variant put out there, possibly some kind of avian type flu that might result in a reason for them to do another round of the JAB. And then all those people that are dumb enough to do it, unfortunately, that's about 55 million Americans, they will not be with us in the next round of ascension, whatever you want to call that. So yeah, as far as what kind of timeline we're looking at here, I think probably by October is when this really bad stuff start to kick in. And here's something else that's been relayed to me. The word zombie has come up, and not as in an actual zombie, but more like the aspect when they put this stuff into their bodies, their aggression levels are going to increase in combination with FIVEG. I'm sorry, I have to use all these code words, but yeah, the combination between all that could create a lot of chaos in the streets and houses burning down and so on. But I do foresee all this going away by possibly December or even March. The RV has been, that's come up in some of the remote viewers that I work with, happening by March. And when that happens, yeah, a lot of people are going to get paid off to essentially stop burning everything down. And yeah, we can start doing the integration process by 2025. Pretty much all this will be forgotten like a huge dream. And also YouTube is going to pay for their treachery for what they've done, and along a lot of corporate America that's gone along with this agenda. But I said that the best way possible. Hopefully you won't get censored for that.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Project number PPF5. There's some extra numbers in there. That's the name of the new variant. It's coming out of Fort Detrick's. It's it's engineered. The cure is going to be delivered by CRISPR, and it's going to have to go into the spinal cord. So that is there's already a patent, so they've already got the cure and everything. So they okay, that's what I got for you on that one.
All right, thanks. Kimberly, what do you see coming up in the next 6 months?
Okay, so I'm seeing a little bit of what both James and Jenny have talked about. I see a massive health crisis come up due to all of the JABS that's been going on. We haven't reached the full potential of what's actually in those in those items. Okay. And so what I'm seeing is that, in the next 6 months, that we're going to be seeing a whole lot of variation on the illnesses and diseases that arise from that situation. I think that there's going to be new and interesting things that happen because of this that we're going to be having to deal with. Some of the toxins that are floating around of sorts, that's going to cause massive, I think massive deaths within the next 6 months. The AI is so challenging to talk about some of this stuff. So yeah, I'm just seeing that there's going to be a health crisis with a lot of children and young adults that are exhibiting things that we've never seen before.
Very good, very good. So yeah, like I have views just like all of you. I see that in the very, very near term, we'll probably see the return of somebody or someone representing him or something along those lines. I think it has to happen pretty soon because of the way everything is starting to move. And then on the other side of that, they're going to try and help a lot of people out that are having problems with health issues. So that's something that's going to, the longer that gets drug out, the worse that's going to be. I think a lot of people are aware of that. So they want to see this thing, get stopped out. And the people that are, manipulating the consciousness right now, pulling the plug was a great one, pulling the plug on the news media that basically is, controlling consciousness right now. I think that's one of the huge things that happens in the near term. Now, near term could be within the next couple of weeks, or it could be the next couple of months. The longer it goes on, like I said, the worse the situation is, I think, at this point. All right, so that's kind of a roundup. That's really nice to get all these different views. But you see, a lot of us are seeing some of the same things, and it's coming to a quickening point very soon. But like James was saying, it's gonna take time for all of this to really resolve. It's not going to be like, in another couple of months, maybe somebody comes back and then everything's, hunky dory and beautiful. No, it's these things take time. So now let's go into the next question. What do you think they will do with the children being rescued from the child traffickers? So also from the DUMS and other situations that we're all aware of, and that people have been talking about for well over a year now. What do you guys see with that situation? What are you seeing? I have a lot of stuff that's coming up, and we'll start with you, Jenny. So what do you think, Jenny Lee?
So the thing, I don't pay attention to media. I get all my information from spirit, and that backs up the truth. And so this is the thing about all the heartache, tarnish, generations of damage down there. Mm-hmm. And then on the spiritual side of things, release, and even when they pass away down there, their soul, there was a risk for even the soul to be released. And spirit told me that all has to be cleared out, that energy has to be brought up to the light. And I did work on a situation with that, because it's really hard enough that they passed on, and then all of a sudden your soul's at risk too. So it's a bad situation. So with that, this is the problem. You have another epidemic that these children, and some I think were put down because it was too gruesome and too hard for them to go on, that society cannot turn their back on this anymore, because it's going to surface. And then as a society, you're going to have to come together and care for these kids. It has to be a new foster system. You have to learn how to deal with these. This is a different type of abuse. And so I'm hoping, and I think the med beds are going to be a big part of this situation to reprogram. And so that is the biggest thing that I think people, they deny it. Even though you see it, they want to deny it in their own mindset that this did not happen. And it has. To every part of that child's body was used for something. And that's wrong in every way. And people don't think, it's man, that's the repercussions, but you understand the spirit, boy, that is a big one to swallow. And that is going to be some big repercussions. This is something that will bring us as humankind to our knees, and be grateful and be humble about it, because this is a different type of pain. It's especially denied. So I think you're looking into med beds, you're looking into major therapy, you're looking into people that are faith-based, better stand up and take care of these children, because it's coming to your door. And if you're that faith-driven person, this is where you need to stand up and take care of them. So I think you got a big epidemic of standing up and taking care of them, because it's gonna surface.
And that's interesting. You left off on that one word, surface. And I saw that someone shared a link with me where there's flooding in Germany, and I think there's like children that are like floating into people's homes. And so that was from the DUMS. So the DUMS are being flushed out, as some people have been talking about. And there's been a lot of stuff that says, watch the water. So now that the DUMS are being flushed out, we're starting to see some of the stuff that's coming out of there. So that's going to be revealing. James, what do you see?
I just want to comment on that. Jenny and I, and also Kimberly, we were discussing this a couple of days ago, the same thing you just mentioned, that there might be alien bodies as well floating out of those facilities. And Jenny, I think you mentioned that you see like a 50-foot tall, some kind of extraterrestrial Titan or something.
Right.
Possibly. The government's not going to be able to explain it away as a mutated child or something.
And that's the mindset of people not seeing something like that, or the concept of that, because their reality has been told to them what their reality is. And now you're coming with it in front of your face. And I'd be surprised if they don't even accept it, even though it's in front of you. These are going to surface, period. And just like I did the drawing for New York flooding, was it 4 or 5 weeks ago of that? I've been talking about that for a while. That's just one level that it's hit. So it's not done. It's coming back. That's what Spirit is telling me.
All right. Well, to answer your question, I was involved in the Montauk Project, and after they rescued us, what they did is they took our consciousness. Our bodies were so damaged from all the drugs and the AI and all the stuff they shot us up with, that they just created another clone body and inserted our consciousness into it. And in my case, they could convert you right back into a fetus and then insert you into a new surrogated family. And that's where Project Surrogate comes into play, where they just find you, a family to put you into. Now, I'm not saying necessarily the Alliance is going to do this, because this is secret space program level technology. The Alliance probably has access to some of it, but I don't know if it's like that kind of level. But they certainly could do that as a way to integrate these children back into societies, because they can put you in a med bed, and although ideally they want to keep you around the age of 21 to 25, they can do that, 21 to 25, depending on whether they're male or female. But they could bring you back down even younger. So, but I don't know if that's what they're going to do in this case. So I'm going to just diverge. What Jenny said, I think that sounds pretty accurate, depending on whether or not they're going to do that. So how about you, Kimberly? What do you think?
I think a vast majority of these children are on ships, because I don't think that they can be returned into homes again without significant rehabilitation. This is a level of damage that none of us are equipped to handle, here on the surface of the planet. I believe that these children are going to remain on board ships and healed until they are, ready to rejoin us.
Very good. So yeah, I feel the same thing. The flushing of the DUMs, going down and rescuing all that they could rescue. Of course, some of them didn't survive, like we all can probably imagine. And going forward, that's going to be disclosed. But they are being removed. A lot of them are being removed and going someplace. So ships, whether they're going to remote locations, other DUM facilities that are set up for them, they are being moved from these negative ones. So I have seen some of these DUMs where they go in and clear them, and then they have some type of technology where they can portal back in. And I think the flooding situation destroys that portaling ability, and that's one of the reasons why they're flooding some of these DUMs. So that's what I see. I think the child trafficking, once it will be the one thing that really causes a lot of problems with people consciousness wise, but it is the thing that really awakens humanity very quickly. And we're going to see more of that going forward. So the next question is, what will ET first disclosure event look like? I think it's already been, slowly rolling out over time, but I think we're going to get maybe something a little bit more significant. I don't think it, I know it, but what are your thoughts, Jenny?
And I'm kind of one of those people, I can get a lot of pictures from a lot of different interpretations. So it's not whether you can see it, it's just when you take a picture. So I've seen some things, and those type of beings, I think we're already tracked. They already know where we're at, what we're doing. So that's not a big deal to me. I sense it for a long time that they're there. So this is what I'm thinking. I think they're already hovering above us. Are they using the clouds? Of course, for a cover up. But I mean, to me, the situation like that, just hold a mask. I just think that we've already done the slow type of revealing, and people are okay with just pulling it, just seeing them appear. And then because not only that, seeing humankind that's already connected with them and showing that they're already working with them and it's already a balanced situation. So that's important to show that that has already been a working system. And this is the thing, I will tell you, Michael, that I call the former president the shepherd, because they call him, he is spokesman of Earth. They told me that a long time ago. So, so in that process, I think last July when he was talking about certain things and posted that he had to make a big decision, I think that was at that point that he made that decision to work with them more. So I think it's going to be a good event is what I think. And I think it's just going to appear and seeing that our government is working with them is going to make it easier.
Fabulous. Yeah. So James, what do you see coming forward with that?
Okay. Well, first of all, Biden is not the president, and Trump is allegedly an actor, or you could certainly spokesperson would be another term for it. The Earth Alliance is in control of the military, the executive branch, and the White House still has Trump pictures all over the place. He's never taken his stuff out of there. And yeah, but so as far as disclosure is going to happen, this is what I think the scenario is going to be. EBS is going to be announced. And of course, they'll do all the disclosures, but they will also tell people that ETs exist, as well as the secret space program and the whole all that the colonies off world. And they're going to shut down the technology that's cloaking all these ships. So the people are going to know about it. So it won't be like I mean, there was one scenario where it did happen where they just this was during the Obama presidency, another timeline, that they shut it all down and there was plane crashes everywhere, and certainly people were in shock. But here it'll be a little bit more softer approach, and hopefully no. I think all planes are going to be grounded by that point because of all the death waves that's about to occur. But now another scenario that was discussed many years ago, the remote viewing, was possibly a city ship landing just above the ocean that was empty, but it had very advanced alien technology. So the government wouldn't be able to like hide it or put a hologram over it, or they wouldn't be able to use their media to kind of portray, oh, it's a hologram. I mean, it's like some kind of swamp gas. Whatnot. You know, the excuses they come up with, because everybody, you could see it, it's there, and it's huge, and you can go in there and get healed. So that's another idea that was kind of popping around. But you know, everything's in flux. So how they're going to do it, I think, is still in the works, and we'll just have to sit back and watch the show.
Yeah, fabulous. Good. What do you see, Kimberly?
Okay, so I see a little bit of both again. So I think I agree with you that, you know, disclosure is already happening. And I think these extraterrestrial bodies are going to be floating up on people's doorsteps. And there's not going to be any way for anybody to hide this or tell us it's swamp gas or whatever they would like to, because it's just going to be all this evidence is just going to come out in droves. And I also think the Space Force was the beginning of the disclosure of our space fleet. So I believe it's going to start off with, hey, we have anti-gravitic ships that we didn't tell you about. Oops. And we also have friends from space, and it's slowly going to dribble in, and then eventually culminating in ships uncloaking themselves.
Excellent. So yeah, I agree with all of you. I think the uncloaking of the ships is one of the major stepping stones going forward. They're probably maybe little ships at first, and then massive ships like James was talking about, and then there will be visitation, like James was talking about. That's my thoughts as well. And they will be uncloaking all around the world. I mean, they're around the world already. So the small ships can start to uncloak very, very quickly, very easily. And like James was saying, probably will be a grounding of aircraft, because that's one of the reasons why they didn't do it before, because the deep state basically would go and attack them and try and stop that disclosure process. And that's not going to be allowed going forward. That's going to be completely revealed. The basically the shutdown of the deep state's media apparatus is going to be one of the major functions of bringing that in, and then taking over that system and broadcasting the truth. All right, let's jump into the next one. This is a good one. How will BIDEN be exposed as a false leader? And what's the situation around that? And is he really a false leader, or what are you guys' thoughts on that? Generally.
Okay. Clone. But this is the thing that I kind of find it funny. And it's just to adapt to society. I mean, how dumb does he have to look before people have to wake up? No one in their right mind with any presidency see the mistakes that he makes, and it's deliberate on purpose, for them to wake up. So the thing is like I talked to James, in the shepherd's way, I would just literally walk on stage and pull the mask off the face. Please.
That would be outstanding.
So it's just like, here you go. This is it. This is not real. This is clone material. They can make masks that way. I mean, there's so many errors around him, his communication, everything. It's just they have gotten into this sickness of reality. No matter what it is, it can go sicker and sicker and off. This guy, you would not leave with your dog. There's just no way. He has no common sense whatsoever. And then the administration behind him, it's just a bunch of high school rejects that are just pissed off in life, and they didn't get theirs. So now they're coming the way they need to come, but they're all covering each other and they're puppets. So I think it's going to be a public situation, display, and go, here you go. This is what we got to do. This is the way it's going to have to be. So we're just going to have to show you. This reality needs to come to the light. Nice.
What are your thoughts, James?
When I was on the show back, I think the first time we came on, it was March. I had some information about Biden kicking the can in October from a heart attack. Now, that information was sourced from my friend who was able to channel the Andromedans, but unfortunately, his partner got the JAB and shedded, and he died, even though he didn't get that JAB. Just being around someone killed him. So I unfortunately I'm not able, because the timelines are always changing. So this intel I'm giving you is close to 7 months old, but I still think we're probably close to that timeline. I think that's how he's going to. He's not, basically won't be exposed during his time in office or alleged office, if you would call it that. But I don't think it's going to go to Pelosi. She's going to be in GITMO, and certainly Kamala Harris. She's not even a U.S. citizen. So definitely, I don't think she's going to be in. Now, if they did vote for impeachment, because, they were trying to impeach him back in January. So if that did happen, we would be on a really bad timeline right now. But thankfully that didn't. And I still think we're on a positive timeline. I wanted to throw out some names here. What do we got? We have Jim Carrey. That's a possible name for the guy in the silicone suit that's alleging to be the president. Another name, I was trying to find it on the Real Raw News. Arthur Roberts, a C-grade actor whose greatest claim to fame was portraying the evil ninja Brayden in the 1983 martial arts film Revenge of the Ninja, because he's 6'2", same height as almost same height. Yeah, pretty okay, basically. But I don't know. I can't confirm and deny any of that. So I'll let Kimberly chime in on that.
Very nice, very nice, Kimberly.
What about James Woods?
Yeah, I've heard that too. Yeah.
Okay, so I see this actor BIDEN, whether it be James or Jim Carrey. I think that they're going to try to test his mental faculties, and he's obviously going to fail. And the VP obviously is not qualified or a US citizen. So I think that while all of this is going on, somebody else is going to move in to temporarily take the place until the election. Can we talk about that? Until that's, I think there's going to be two things going on simultaneously, and I think one's going to feed off of each other.
Very nice. Yeah. So I think that, that the clones, I think it's a little combination of clone action and actors, because I think that guy's gone. He's no longer existing. When I remote view that entity, it's not there. So that will be part of the reveal. But I think in the meantime, there's a possibility of the 25th Amendment being enacted, and I would like to push it a lot sooner than what they're ready for, because it kind of upsets their little apple cart, because they plan these things out. And if it starts to get pushed, we're like, hey, this guy is, clown show. What's up? He needs to be replaced. Even if, I hear people whining, well, the replacement's worse than what we have right now. But that process of upsetting that whole system, that's what we want. So we want them to really start to, unwind. So I think that as we move forward, Nancy would be the first one. And Nancy's already talking about, leaving. She's lame duck. And I think that she has already left. I think she has a nice little summer, nice little place down in the spa. She's enjoying the spa, answering some questions as we're talking. So I think that as we move forward, that a lot of this stuff gets revealed, but not until someone comes back in charge, and the real person that is our rightfully elected person comes in and removes that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was a nice little share, James. Thank you. Let's move into the next one. So this is something that I was just discussing with another group, this religious action. How will religious people handle the transition period once we start to understand, bigger picture stuff like we're talking about? I think it's going to be kind of upsetting to people. How are they going to transition into, letting go of some stuff? I think that, information, a lot of the history we've been taught is going to be, revealed as being false, and we get the real history, and that changes a lot of stuff. Now when we look at these other ET races, they don't have religion like we know it. They have a different type of system where they have direct knowing, and I think that's what happens moving forward. What do you see, Jenny Lee?
So this is something I've had to deal with all my life. And the thing is when you're seeing it and they tell you, Spirit tells you false, lie, not true. So religion has been processed into profit. And that's the whole thing. It's made it a business. It's not the small churches and, going out of their way. It's judgment, throwing stones, all that stuff. I'm concerned about the religious people when they find out half of the Bible is true and half of it isn't, and half it's been picked apart too. So these people themselves, they have to listen to what the Bible said from original. God is inside you. You should have been listening to the inner voice and that interpretation, and you were too brainwashed of listening to what they were criticizing and what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? So I was actually raised Quaker, and they're very psychologically abusive, and even through that, they're like, no. So these people, that religion has to fall to the side, and we need to unite as one spiritual religion. Well, you don't even call it religion. It's a spiritual essence of energy that you become together. And that's what has to change. Drop it, period. Let the energy unite them together. Feel energy, understand spirituality. But I am actually seeing churches starting to tap into the spiritual stuff. They're like, because they're losing their followers. They know that all this is bull. And so now they know that we don't have a choice. We have to be honest and start to open up. So they don't have a choice either. They got to open up and be honest about what's really happening. And the vessel is inside of us, and that voice has always been there.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right, James, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, years ago, I had a guest on my show, or multiple times guest, named Jay Essex, and I always value. Every time when he said this, it made a lot of sense to me. But what he described it as, think of it as a child growing up and needing bigger shoes. You simply just grow out of it. So essentially, that's what's happening to humanity. Is we're essentially just growing up. And at one point, all those religions and customs and traditions were important for us and valued by us. But as things change, we move on and we find new ones. And so as far as like a timeline, the information that was relayed to me is that it's probably especially the Christian fundamentalist side. Now, I'm not saying, I mean, there's certainly other religions too, but I'm just going to focus on that, is going to be is going to take the longest period of time to transition to the acceptance of that there actually is extraterrestrial races, and that maybe some of the Bible was basically part of an Anunnaki draconian type agenda to control them, mind control and all this. But it's going to take some time for them to let go of that. But and they're probably going to be the last group or subgroup that's going to let go of that system, control system. But eventually it is all going to be going away once all this is exposed, because it's time to let it happen.
Excellent. Yeah. Very, very good. Kimberly, what do you think?
Well, I see, the religions as a human construct. And I believe that the people that are very devout are going to have very difficult time with all of this, because this is their backbone of their belief system. And once that's taken down, there's gonna be lots of questions and confusion. I don't see everybody coming on board with this, because I do believe that there will always be a certain sect of the population that will absolutely deny extraterrestrials, deny that we have, space travel, time travel, all of it. It's just not, they're just not going to get on board with it. And so those people will eventually, I think, just, they're going to remove themselves or be a smaller, quieter portion of the population outside of everybody else that's on board with, with what's going on in space currently. So I do believe that there's going to be a huge curiosity and transition towards an energy-based spirituality versus a book-based religion.
Beautiful. Wow. I agree with that tremendously. And, it's funny because when some of these subjects come up, you see like the numbers. I'm watching the numbers that are coming in, watching the show. They're continually growing until we hit the subject. And so it's not an easy subject for people to just be open-minded to. And they just like, check out. Nope, can't do that. So, I mean, we all know that anytime we have on our different shows, we've talked about this situation that we have here on Earth, that it seems that, people just switch off. So I've always been, completely open-minded to this. I've studied every religion. And I think that every religion, has beauty within it, but also quite a lot of manipulation. Because we've all talked about how those manipulations are in there. It's basically to control consciousness, a lot of it, unfortunately, to a certain point, not to awaken consciousness to what it's supposed to, and that's the connection to source. So I think as we move forward, we'll see a lot of people have trouble with this because the ETs, who are we supposed to worship them now? No, look, they're just like us, we are them really. So there will be a lot of transition. A lot of people have obviously problems with it and they'll have questions. And over time, once those questions are answered and they become more comfortable with it, the awakening process will speed up, but it will take time. it will take years. I mean, to think of all the years worth of programming people have undergone. It's not like a switch. You switch it, and then it's like, oh, now I have understanding. So it'll take a little time. But outstanding, guys are bringing some really good stuff. I totally appreciate it. All right, let's move to another one. Will most of the cure people, jabberdoos, or whatever you want to call it, drop, out of existence due to other things that are within making that cure toxic? So there's lots of people that have been talking about a lot of things that are in there. The evidence for that is being covered up. If we were to say any keyword right now, this video would not survive. So they're controlling the situation. This medical tyranny is pretty severe right now. So what do you see, Jenny Lee, as far as like that cure, that thing that people get? Is that going to be a problem going forward? What's happening with that?
Spirit was telling me about levels, 3 levels of humans. And this lower frequency, they told me this probably 2 years ago, that they're not going to make it. And it has to do with the conscious state too. So you have these ones that as soon as they got the shot, they just dropped off, completely and died. And that's that lower frequency mindset. So your DNA and how all of that is combined together and how everything processes in your body. So then you have these mid spiritual, higher vibration people, because those people actually work on staying away from other medication and all that stuff. So I see that it adapts to levels of understanding and what you do. But I believe it goes back to some of the DNA too. There are some DNA that it's not adapting to, and I don't think that you just have like 4 types of DNA. I think there's more out there that, maybe we're not seeing the way that people want to see it, because I really have a lot of doubt in science now. I'd rather trust a higher being of what that is now. And so I really believe it's a conscious state, being above that. And because they've told me a long time ago, the second level and the higher level will make it, the lower level will not make it. So do I think that these people are going to get sick down the road? Yes. Do I think it's going to constantly happen? Yes. Do I think it's going to be a big percentage? That depends on what they do every day now. I think it does affect. And the condition that you were in when you had the shot.
Beautiful. Very good. Yeah, I agree with a lot of those points. James, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So HIV, mad cow. I don't know if these are going to be graphene, OXIDIE. I think I spelled that right. That's the AI, the black goo aspect of it all. Let me pull this because I wanted to show the picture of that. Oh wait, hold on. I thought okay. I know I got it up here. So here's something here you could wrap your mind around here. As you could see, this definitely doesn't look very natural. It's 99% of the aspect. I mean, some of them, but this was actually taken from a sample from I can't even say these words. It came from Russia. So I'm saying that some of them are different. Somebody has saline. Some nurses are just using the saline and not telling them. So some people are going to be just fine in this whole thing. But let me stop sharing now. Okay. This also has come up too, which I thought was kind of curious, is that there is extraterrestrial DNA being put into them to create new contracts, abduction contracts, because humanity is about ready to ascend. And there's a certain group of ET, especially the Maitreya. I don't think that I'm still not saying it like that. The Matra, I think it is. They essentially they are abducting humans and converting them into cyborgs and slaves off world. Yeah. So these guys their DNA, at least I think their DNA is in some of these things. And as a result, they want to harvest as many people as possible. And this also comes into Exodus 2023, which is a project that through remote viewing that we come across on the moon. It's a cybernetic lab there where they are taking souls of people that they're planning on passing around 2020 or up to 2023 and converting them into cyborgs and selling them off world. So yeah, unfortunately, the people that are participating on that, even if they're not giving necessarily their consent to it, but by doing it, I guess that's for them that they believe it's consent. So I wanted to mention that. I think that's all I had here to say. They can also reanimate dead corpses, so it doesn't matter to them if you're dead or alive. By the way, okay. So that's what I got.
Excellent. Good points. Kimberly, what are you seeing?
Okay, so so what I'm seeing is that this is a surface population issue, and it's also a spiritual issue. And so I'm seeing that there's a population that's obviously divided between, people that are accepting the JB and the people that are not. And the people that are accepting it are really cutting themselves off from their spiritual self, from their connection to their spiritual self. So after that's cut off, there's not a lot of life left as far as being a full-fledged human. So the way I see it is that, the people that have signed up for this are the people that are actually going to be leaving the planet, just plain and simple. I don't think that they're ready to move up in vibration as the planet is moving. And I believe that this has been, on a spiritual level, this has been set up so that they had the ability to have an out. And the companies that make this actually gave them the ability to make that decision. So I believe that there are going to be a lot of deaths because I believe that this is 100% fatal. But I believe it's a decision that was made on a higher level for the people that are not going to be able to continue on in this, this new paradigm that's showing itself to us.
Very, very nice. Yeah, I think that a lot of people have, a lot of souls have chosen that path because it's going to be one of those awakening moments. So I think the numbers are heavily suppressed right now. We're going to see some massive numbers there, and going forward, they'll continue to grow. I saw this in a remote view, like probably about a year and a half ago. The numbers were pretty staggering, but it's not the whole world's not getting shut down for this. And there's still going to be a massive amount of people that go forward. But, and some of that can be turned around through the med beds. Some of it will be turned around from consciousness, like Jenny Lee was talking about. So the consciousness does absolutely have an effect. So you could stick anything in me and it's not going to have an effect. You stick stuff. People have actually performed that process where they get, jabbed with something that's super toxic and it doesn't affect them at all. So I've been around people that were really toxic in my travels all over the world, and I never got sick. So it does have the consciousness will be a factor in this, and is a factor right now. Now, in the beginning, I think that it was pretty much a non-factor, maybe saline, like we're talking about, and maybe just some harmless stuff. That's what I'm getting from my contact, but they started to put some bad product out there, and that's what we're having right now. So it's not on a very big level yet, but if they continue, this medical mafia continue to be able to have their control, they will increase that over time. So that's part of the process that we have to see, the stopping of that whole system. So that leads to our next question. What do you think will happen to the medical mafia in the coming years, Gina Lee?
Dissolved. Completely dissolved. And I have a actual student that is a doctor, and that is his concern. He says, my job is going to be completely dismantled. And you have to know the ones that are going to lead this, that know about spirituality, that know about energy, that knows about that frequency. It's not going to be your PhD. It's not. It is going to be people that know about energy that lead this. So yeah, I just don't think that they are pharmaceutical. Spirit has showed me that these pods for these med beds, and it's the way they're saying it, they're not big facilities. You're just going in and they're convenient everywhere. And it's what it is. You've got the older generation that's going to be the hardest. So then when they start to see that it's the younger ones will step in and go and do it, then they're starting to see the results. So they're going to go by the result. But I think the government say you can have this choice or that choice. We're not going to force you. But then you're slowly going to see these facilities, medical, especially the Cancer Society. We know that that's been cured a long time ago. It'll be gone. They'll never see it. They'll be in the history books of how this happened and everything, but everything's going to shrink and be capable of doing it in a 1 to 2 hour process.
Fabulous. Yeah, that sounds magnificent. I know everyone's ready for that. And I think at some point it's going to be, some of it will be mass scale, where lots of people walk into a room and I guess beamed, and then some of it will be in tanks, healing tanks for a long time, like James and I have talked about, kind of like the Avatar stuff. And then some of it will be in those, what we see as the pods. James, what do you see going forward?
I see liability protections being removed, and I see a lot of the people that are involved in all this agenda being hunted down and being brought to trial. They may actually not even make it to trial. They may be hunted down by the crowds, because remember I told you earlier, the zombification process, which is it's going to cause a lot of people to become extremely violent. And the violence is going to be mostly directed to the ones that are promoting this agenda. So a lot of these people are not going to survive because of that. Now, there will also be demands of releasing cures and technology. So this may actually result in the med beds being expedited, released. I'd like to share my screen just real quick here. This is the matra. So yeah, these are those grays that are putting their DNA in those things that we were talking about. This is a group of feline beings from Exodus 20:23, which, by the way, is a Bible verse, and you can go look it up. So it's referring to a cybernetic labs, and some of these feline beings evidently are negatively aligned, and they're participating in this cybernetic agenda. So I just wanted to share my screen real quick. Okay. Anyway, that's all I have on that. Thank you.
Yeah, and I agree with you on the hunting down, and we want that to be resolved obviously peacefully. But I do see a timeline where that's taken care of by the crowds, unfortunately. Yeah. Kimberly, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff. I think the medical mafia, those that survive the gallows will be hunted down. I think that the medical community is going to be completely disbanded, because what they're pushing is no longer necessary. It's not our way going forward. We've seen what the medical community can do. And once this is all unveiled, that that there is a underlying health situation going on here, that people are going to absolutely 100% resist the medical community and what they have to offer us, because there's better ways going forward, and the med beds are going to be the start of it. And I see also, and I see that, all of the nurses and the doctors that have survived from, getting their own JABs, will have to be re-educated, and they'll have to do other things, because I don't see the medical community moving forward after this in a positive way. I just think it's going to be totally disbanded.
Yeah, I totally agree with everyone's assessment that they'll be completely disbanded, and a lot of the good doctors and nurses and chiropractors and all the people that are doing, the healing, they'll start to turn those healing centers into wellness centers. And that's all we're going to need going forward. We're not going to need the healing because we'll all be doing the right things that keep us very healthy.
Mhm.
So one last question, and then we'll have closing comments from everybody if they want to
That
bring
was
up.
from Kimberly. Yeah, she channeled that last message, but go ahead.
Oh, nice. All right. So the last one: how will society react to the lies fed to them from the mass media and medical cartel? Jenny Lee.
I think we went over this one in the beginning. It just, when you have your education system too, along with the medical, that's programming too. They're not going to. What I see, churches being burnt down, medical facilities, when they get angry enough, they're going to burn them down too, because they've already been thinking for years that they're giving us the wrong medicine, they're diagnosing with the wrong situation, and they're going to react. So even when I have a doctor come to me and goes, I'm seeing me go out the door fast. So what I'm saying is they're going to dismantle and disintegrate them across the board. And then, because when you have some new technology that you're seeing the results within sessions, no one is even going to be interested in going into a hospital. So they ain't going to have any income. They're not going to make any money. So they can't employ anybody, and everybody's going to be wanting to work for the med beds, because I've already heard people, I just want to work for the med beds. I want to work with that facility. I want to do that. So it's going to be abandoned, and I would not be surprised we burnt to the ground.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment.
Lawsuit.
Yeah, lots of lawsuits, and that'll destroy them as well. So all the money they've been collecting over all of these, last 100 or so years, once that system started, is going to have to be given back in generous portions to some people, and they deserve that. So the burning process, because I'll just give you a quick insight on that before it comes my turn, is because I don't forget it, otherwise I will, because you guys have great stuff. I remember going by a church here in St. Petersburg, and I saw the negative entities that were in that church, and I was like, that's going to have to be burnt. There's no way that can continue. So that's one of the reasons why I think a lot of these institutions will have to be removed, because there's so much negative karma in them, and so much bad juju and bad spirits that are in them, that they just have to be destroyed. James, what do you see?
Well, I don't know if I really have much more to add to all this. I mean, I already covered that. I see people becoming extremely violent. Certainly, I think the mass media is going to become obsolete. But eventually it will be reformed, because I was told through a remote viewer, basically they see all the secret space program, basically what we're discussing now, becoming mainstream news. So this and it's kind of shocking, really, kind of see like the difference like night and day between now and in the future. But even like secret space program stuff is that kind of super soldier stuff, all that. So as far as medical cartel, we already know that's going to be going away. How the public is going to react, I think they're going to just go. Typically, when you lose a loved one, you go through this grieving process. I think the public's going to go through that first. They'll be in denial, and then they'll get angry, and then they'll become, it's like, oh, it's self-evident, so and they'll move on. But some people, the consciousness of them are so low that they can only perceive like what's right in front of them. So it will take a while for them to kind of get upgraded, I guess, with the rest of the society culture here as we progress into new age here. But okay, that's my
excellent, good points, and I agree with that. The consciousness has to be at a certain level before you can even comprehend this. Kimberly, what are your thoughts?
Okay, so I see from now until the end of the year that we as a planet are going to be going through a great deal of emotion, anywhere from grieving to shock to surprise. It's going to be a consistent reveal from now until, I believe, until the end of the year. So we're just going to get over one situation, and then another one's going to come, and another one's going to come, and it's just going to keep pouring out until the space fleet, till extraterrestrials, the deep state, all of it, the elections. I think that this is just some of the stuff that we're seeing is just the beginnings of an avalanche, of course, of all this stuff that's going to be happening as far as disclosure goes. But then we're going to also be dealing with the fact that we have relatives and friends and close individuals that are suffering physically from a devious plot to depopulate the planet. So it's going to be a lot. And I see a lot of emotional exhaustion. I see a lot of confusion. I see a lot of depression, from being bamboozled for thousands of years. So we as a society have a lot of healing to do. I see that. I see the next 6 months is a bit chaotic. But going into 2022, I think that, we are going to rise up and clear a lot of this up that happened in 2021.
Yeah, I agree with everyone. So the consciousness is going to take a hit for some people. There's a lot of us that have already done the work, and we're just like, oh, finally everybody wakes up. So good. All right, we're all happy. And but there are other people are like, oh, so they're going to go through that grieving period. So and we're there. We're like happy. It's like, oh, it'll be okay. You'll get over it. I went through that process years ago, and but it'll be a lot speeded up, much more speeded up, because we had to do the searching, the inner searching, and then look for the information. It's going to be revealed. So that hard searching that we had to find all this stuff is going to be quickly revealed. Now, if we could talk openly right now, it would be a massive reveal for a lot of people, but we can't. So once that ability is given to us to talk openly, that's another process that really speeds this up. So a lot of people that follow us, because of the way we have to walk our words around stuff, it's a little confusing. People, kind of turns them off. But when you can be open about this information, and you can go a lot deeper than what we're allowed to right now, it's the awakening process will happen a lot quicker. So we'll be part of that process. There's a lot of people out there that are, tiptoeing through this stuff right now, revealing, but it's going to come a lot faster. And because of that, we'll be able to take off with our own stuff, and people will be more inspired by that as well. So last words, Jenny Lee, and then a little bit about yourself. And for everyone that's watching, the description, all the information for everyone here in the description box, all their information will be down there. So Jenny Lee, last words, and then a little bit about yourself as far as how people can contact you.
I want the raw truth out. I want everything revealed. This world's going to turn inside out. What you think is going to be the future is not. It's going to be completely different. The way your homes are, everything that you need in the flesh is not going to be needed in the same way anymore. So I do something called humble healing that actually reprograms that fear of 3D out of the mind in one session. So I'm a spiritual teacher. I teach many classes. I'm an author, walking in humble spirit. And actually when I teach, I actually tap into what's behind you, and I just open the doors of what they're telling me to do. They're the teacher. I just give you the tools to flourish and go in a direction. And then I work on missing persons and crimes for corporations and anything that's artifacts in the ground. So I just am all about the raw truth completely.
It's magnificent. All right. Thank you very much. And James.
Yeah, I've got some pictures that Jenny drew. You want me to share? Jenny, do you want?
Absolutely.
Is it okay to share that? Okay. All right. Hold on, folks. Let me pull this up. So this one, I think this is the Three Gorges Dam. And because she's come on my show to talk a little bit about this one. So I guess, Jenny, you want to just quickly go over that?
Yeah. And the thing was, they told me China, and then the way the rocks were up against the surface. But you and I saw that they were, Asian Oriental looking, and then that it was older. It wasn't a newer type of facility. But what was by this, what scared me, and they were talking about a Walmart of cloning facility that would have trucking, shipping, cargo, everything out of it going for these cloned facilities. They're like, Jen, it's the Walmart of it all. So you will look at something like that that has natural animals and all that stuff connected to that. It looks like they're just doing normal testing. They're not. And then all of this is underground. You see some of it in trees. And then I also did a picture of what you would call a white ape with, that's the
I don't have the ape one.
well, it's something later we can look at, but the dam, everything's underneath. So, and how far they go down and how they don't have a place to go anymore. We have dismantled where they can hide now. So they have to surface up. They thought that underground was going to be their safe haven. It's not now. So that dam and the way it was showing, there's just many things going on underground. It's not just one thing that they showed me. And then just like the New York picture, there's a white.
Is that it? The ape. So these are the clones that are.
Showed me how they look and very dangerous and testing and all that stuff. This is what I drew, what Spirit showed me, and how they look. So it's all these facilities that look like there's something, but there's a mirage, and it's totally something different, like this. So yeah, it's some of the stuff I just draw. I draw it by memory of how Spirit tells me to draw it completely. I didn't think I could do this, and they just show me. And these have led to cases being solved. So that's the New York one where the plug goes up to one level.
Is it supposed to be this way?
Yeah. So as it comes down, and that's right downtown, and they just show the underground system and then that first level of being
First floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Flood out.
And so I've been working on that one. And then I have the big one in California, which is coming up. But these are the lines, the landlines, and then the yellow is where that's unstable ground that's going to fall off and partly go into the ocean. The green is actually the area of the safe zone. And so that whole structure underneath is not going to be there. It's going to deteriorate. And so they show me, I've been wanting to draw that California one for a while, and they finally showed me what I needed to do with it. And people don't like this stuff, but I have to be honest about it.
But Jenny, people have been saying California is going to fall into the sea for many years now, decades. I mean, since at least Edgar Casey.
If you go back to that other picture.
This one or?
No, the other one. That one. Okay, so that shows when I'm looking like Grand Canyon, as it divides, you're seeing a part of it go in the ocean where that yellow. So all these people that have properties right on the coastline, that stuff is going to fall, but it has the coast of where it's going to fall into. So it's going to be like a Grand Canyon. You're looking down, you're seeing water and these big cracks, and it's never going to come back together again. But that's where I saw the transition for these alien species staying in that area above the sky, going in and out of ships, because the atmosphere is the best atmosphere for them too.
I'd like to make a comment about this. It's come across an individual has mentioned to me that she used to get dreams about she gets prophetic dreams, and when Trump was in office, all the bad dreams stopped of these earth changes, and then as soon as the BIDEN got in, the dreams about earthquakes and all this started up. So it almost seems like this stuff is going to be created, manufactured, and it's actually, I don't know if you've talked about this, Jaco, on your show, but California is sitting on a giant ledge in the ocean. You can actually take a submarine underneath it, and that whole ledge could theoretically fall off if they apply some sort of weapons down there. And by the way, they could take submarines all the way to Sandia under New Mexico. So it goes in there pretty deep.
Yeah, that's true. There's been a lot of people that have talked about that, insiders that talk about how the submarines come in Santa Barbara's got an entryway, and there's like submarine bases, you know, in Nevada, all kind of crazy stuff. So yeah, it's fascinating stuff. But I agree with a lot of the stuff. I saw this stuff for a long time. Now, whether it does materialize remains to be seen going forward. It could be part of the you know, the last things that you know, that has to unwind here on Earth to make that transition.
All right. I don't know if Jenny's still here. If she's not,
Yeah, she
oh, there she is.
here she, yeah, she's coming back now.
Okay, because she called Los Angeles is going to be renamed Lost Souls City because there's so many people are going to. I guess it's going to be so sudden, or either that the people down in that part of the basin there don't believe it. I mean, I guess they're stubborn, or either that there've been so many warnings that this earthquake is going to happen. Nobody, I guess they just. Jenny,
Are you there?
yeah,
Yeah, you good? Go ahead.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. My computer just shut down.
okay.
Okay, so then that's the yellow is where it's going to go into the ocean. It's unstable ground. And then you have the red where you're going to see that gap. And the green is the safe zone that they showed me with the situation.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. The Sierra Nevada mountains are safe zone. So that's what I got. That's why I was living there. But now I moved to Florida. I think it's a little bit safer out here. So that's amazing. What else do you see, James? You want to talk about your stuff?
Oh, well, one more picture and then I'll go. I only have one thing I wanted to show, but Jenny, you want to quickly comment? These are the pods.
Yeah, I'm seeing our home as home changes. We're going into these futuristic pods that travel. So it's dimensional. So you go in and just resources and you can access things in a different type of mindset that people like, what, how can this happen? But they've been showing me these are pods that travel. So we're going to downsize what we live in and how we travel, and the simplest things that we need are accessible. So that's what they were showing me.
Okay. Thank you. All right. So yeah, if you want to learn more about, thank you, Jenny. If you want to learn more about what I do, you could always visit supersoldiertalk.com. You can also go to my website, neologicaltech.com, and get a copy of my book. It's all pretty much SSP related stuff, but I'm going to give it over to Kimberly now, because I know she's got this channel message she got from Mother Earth. So unless, Kimberly, if you want to add something.
That was great. Cheers. Thanks, guys. Kimberly?
Are you going to read it? Oh, thank you. Are you going to read it, James?
I could, or would you?
Okay, yeah, I'll just quickly say that, I'm a remote viewer, a super soldier. I specialize in connecting people with their star families. I also specialize in remote viewing, whether or not you've been in the projects, the space program, super soldier stuff, all of that. And I can be found at supersoldiercoalition.org.
Outstanding. Do you want to read that channel message?
Okay, I'll do it. My dearest ones, I am your mother. I'm here and I'm always here, and I've been transforming as well as you. You've always felt loved and connected, and that is always me you are connected to. And if agreed upon before birth to make a jump like no other, we will make this jump and we will heal together. My love for you all. Namaste.
That's from Mother Earth.
That's beautiful. Yeah, that's fabulous. So so ending comments on my end is that, it's been fantastic roundtable with you guys. I'd love to do this again in the future. The stuff that we're all tapping into for the future of the planet, it's rosy in the future, but we're going to go through a process of some trial and tribulation, and it's not going to be we think someone's going to come back and return and then everything's hunky dory. No, it's not going to happen that way. It's going to be lots of problems going forward, and earth changes, all kind of crazy stuff. So we'll see a lot of that start to manifest. We're already seeing a little bit of that manifest, I believe, already, and it's going to pick up speed. So that's part of the awakening process. It's always happened that way, and it's consciousness as a way of bringing that stuff in. It's a cleansing process, and it happens every time. And that's fantastic. So also for my stuff, you can unleashingintuition.com or michaelkjaco.com. And guys, thanks a lot for joining me today, and everyone that's come in to share with us. And it's been quite a little audience that we've attracted in here, and one of the highest ones I've had yet since I lost all my big channel. So this is fantastic. You guys brought them in, and I think it's going to be shared. I think I'm definitely going to lead this up. So the guys that came in the middle of this, keep watching, and share it as much as you can. And we'll be back to share more information in the future. All right, guys, thanks a lot, and lots of love.
Thank you.